Hi guys, Kate here, and we're going to Winterthur today. Don't you just love trains? There's something romantic about them. Is it just me? And there's something beautiful about having coffee, that first cup of coffee on the train. Am I right? So, in German, Winterthur is Winterthur, so not quite English. So, it's a city in Canton of Zurich, northern Switzerland, with over 100,000 residents. It's the sixth largest city by population, hence well deserves our attention. It's located 20 kilometers or so away from Zurich, so virtually suburbs of Zurich. It's a satellite of Greater Zurich, and it is in high-tech industry. I mean, who wouldn't be today, right? So locals call it lovingly, Winty, and that's from a local dialect. And the city is famous for its reputation in art and culture. There's a number of great art museums and galleries. Originally, most of the pieces were in private collections and eventually became available to the public view. Due to the number of quality museums, Winterthur has grown into an internationally well-known city, and they're especially unique and valuable collections of art from 19th and 20th century. The name Winterthur originated from the Roman city Vitudurum, correct my pronunciation if I'm wrong. The people of Kyburg, sounds like Cyborg, Kyburg founded the city, which received the so-called right of the city by Habsburgians in 1264. In 1467, the city was financially broke, and it was taken over by the largest city of Zurich until year 1798. I believe locals are no longer angry about that. So beginning of 1830, the city began to flourish again, and following the industrialization, started to feel a little more independent. Since the formation of Swiss Confederation in year 1848, Winterthur became a more independent city on its own. I personally just love the place for the old town. There are just streets upon streets, kilometers after kilometers of just this beautiful architecture, and a lot to see, a lot to do, lots of coffee shops, and truly a fantastic day. Another thing that really struck me about the city is just the number of these parks and the places where people could gather. I counted personally after walking the city for a couple of hours, like 6 or 7 places, this kind of small oases in the city where you could have picnic, play with kids, and just generally enjoy the sunny afternoon. So now we're finally hitting on the first museum, and this is Kunstmuseum. Forgive my Deutsch, my German. Art museum. So this museum holds a large number of Swiss and German art, but it also praises itself on having pieces from Monet, Van Gogh, and many others. It's primarily impressionistic art, so if you are into that, I'm sure you would enjoy it. So this is a city church and has been the site of the church of some description for the first time in 700s. The building here is now of melange architecture, and it consists of different periods. So the oldest part is Romanesque Gothic style of 12th century, while the two towers were completed in different times, 14th century for the northern tower and 15th century for the south. Interestingly, after the Reformation, the ornamentation of the church was removed in 16th century, so presumably it was even prettier back then. Right, once again, producer enters the picture. Love the walks. Switzerland is amazing in that sense. Any city that you would visit would provide you with hours and hours available space for just amazing walks. A great thing that we absolutely by accident stumbled into were these steam engines, different design of different time periods. This was personally like my favorite spot in the city. It's an inside promenade with cafes, restaurants, and some shops. I really enjoyed it. It's right in the Marktgasse, and it's very, very close to the train station, so it's virtually impossible to miss that. Another super cool aspect about Switzerland is, yes, it's expensive and everyone knows about that, but there's a lot of stuff that is free. And this is one of the examples. So almost in every city, you would have this area with birds, either in open area or in cages that you can visit for free. It's in one of the city parks, and you're more than welcome to go and save your hard-earned money. Speaking of city being in the north, I was actually visiting in February, and that's how it looked like. So it's the end of February, and the temperature was like plus 16, I think, and it was almost in full bloom by then. So another really cool museum is Mum's Cabinet, and that's coin collection. Some of the coins are traced way back into Roman and Byzantium empires. There's some Swiss medals and coins from medieval times all the way to 20th century. There's also a lot of, in the 1600s, ancient artifacts from ancient Greece and Rome. So now back to the train station, and I get my traditional cup of coffee. Don't you just love the fact that they ask you the name? So after repeating my name a couple of times, I ended up being Pete. I guess things could have been worse. I mean, Pete is a good name. Nearly spent a small fortune on cups. Those are good cups. So that was it. That was a day in Winterthur. Now it's the time to go back home. Thank you so much for joining me for this trip. It was truly a pleasure to have it with you guys. Please like if you liked it. Please subscribe if you would like to see more. And yeah, all the best. Thank you for joining.